Siphinde sinamukele kuhlelo lwethu ikhula Grow Your Business today amongst the hustle and the bustle lapha eGoli besiphethe ungqongqoshe wezokuthuthukisa umnotho lapha eGauteng uMEC Lebogang Mayile, as well as the Premier of Gauteng David Makhura, as well as the chairperson of Eskom Jabu Mabuza, and the administrator there and the CEO's initiative Gauteng, who are all speaking about some of the challenges that businesses face and some of the issues that are there in terms of funding, in terms of access to markets, and other things that businesses go through on a daily basis: compliance, getting the right equipment, getting the right machinery, getting the right contacts. Aslalele uguti uMEC Mayile, what did he have to say?
We've got winners from the Township Entrepreneurship Awards, but we also have, I don't want to call them winners, but participants in our Pitching Booster program. That program is about entrepreneurs pitching ideas about their businesses. And on the basis of those ideas, we fund them. The money is obviously never enough as an entrepreneur yourself. And I always tell entrepreneurs that the problem of funding and money, it's a problem for all entrepreneurs, big and small. The difference is the scale. Mr. Patrice Mutsipe might be looking for 30 billion. You might be looking for 30 million. Someone else might be looking for 300,000. So the issue is the scale. But in most cases, an impression is created that no, the problem is only for those who don't have the money. That's not true.
The chairperson of Eskom, Jabu Mabuza, also spoke about big businesses and how they are able to squeeze the life out of the smaller players in the sector.
When you look at the issue of payment, the challenge you have as a small entrepreneur is because you're small, the buyer, the customer, whether it's government or it's big business, they use their muscle, they use their size to squeeze your margins to pay you the least margin possible. So that's the one part. So when you get their business, you're going to get their business because they've got size, they've got scale, they're going to muscle for the biggest discount, which erodes your margin. Once they've done that, then they pay you 90 days from date of summons. Just picture the scene. They've squeezed the margin that there is nothing left. You must spend a little there to buy stock again for the 3 months before they default. And you must also use that little margin to go and find lawyers to collect that debt. That is why there's a very big proportion globally of startups that fold up early in their lifespan. So this issue, MEC, of paying entrepreneurs on time, actually it should be something faster than cash on delivery. Business is not about jargon. Business is not about the big numbers, IFRS and big speak. Business is about people. People buy, people sell. People produce, people consume. Business is a wheelbarrow. If you don't push, you'll find it where you left it.
The administrator in the CEO's initiative, the SMME Fund, Gauteng, also spoke about some of the challenges that small businesses face.
If you are a small business looking for, I would say, between 100,000 and 600,000 rands to grow your business, okay, then SIFA is still, from our experience, the best place to go. Okay, so it's a government SME facility. They have a very good turnaround time. They make their decisions quite quickly, within a couple of weeks. And they are located in pretty much every major center. They have offices literally everywhere. They don't have an sort of infinite amount of money, so they're not massive, but they do lend about 700 million rands a year to small businesses. So that's a useful thing to know. If you haven't been to them, it's worth just going to see them and understand how they work, see what the application process is, understand how they make their decision, and whether you are likely to qualify. Okay, so that's the one bit of advice. Second bit of advice is that we have a partner based in Gauteng called Spartan, S-P-A-R-T-A-N, and that's for slightly bigger amounts of debt money. So I'm assuming all of you understand the difference between debt and equity. Debt is money you're borrowing, you're paying back. Equity is me buying into your business, or somebody buying into your business. So most entrepreneurs that I've met anywhere in the world don't want to sell their business, or even a small share of it, because they think it's going to be worth billions, right? And you don't want to give it away when it's worth very little. So one of the biggest instruments to prevent giving away equity is to use debt. Banks are not really good at lending to people who don't have full security. So if you can't go there and say, I own my house, it's worth R1 million, lend me $500,000, banks can't really do it easily. So we are trying to find people who can lend better than banks can lend. If you already own a house or a car or some asset, yes, it's quite easy to go and borrow against that. We are seeing for the first time people using their RDP house as security against which to borrow money. You can't borrow a lot, but you can borrow up to 50,000 against that house, because there's a secondary market. It's beginning to work now. So Spartan is a South African Joburg-based operation. They will lend between, let's say, between 1 and 5 million rands, or 1 and 4 million rands, depending on what you want.
And the Premier, David Makhura, concluded by saying that businesses must be sustainable.
So there's something called tough love. And I know MEC Maile likes saying that to township businesses. Tough love means that, yes, we must help you, but must not help you too much. You are business people. We must create the environment, the institutional framework, the support that GP and the whole of government is creating. But for you to really thrive and be big, you must also go through your own tough times. And you must make decisions, you must take risk, and you must also fail. Because anyone who's a business person who's afraid of failing should not be in business. I have not met any successful business person who has not failed. Last week, I was with Dangote, Aliko Dangote here, and Tony Elumelu, you know, and Patrice Motsepe. We had this big conference MEC Maile was talking about. When all of them tell the story of how much they have failed, is that failure no longer scares them. It's because they have gone through failure. But if you have never failed in your business, you will be scared. And if failure scares the hell out of you, you can't grow into big.
Well, Nizwile, today we had the winners of the Pitching Booster campaign as well as the Township Entrepreneurship Awards right here, speaking their concerns, their cries, their successes to the Gauteng government as well as the national government at large. Entrepreneurs need to take the baton, and like the Premier said, you can't be too dependent on government, you must do it yourself.